Welcome to Podcast 11 in the series of Who Let the Master Out. Now, all the previous episodes in the series up until now have been a quick review of the tools that I previously introduced in podcast series that help us on our journey of coming back from fear. In this episode, it's going to be a quick bird's eye view of what that journey really looks like from start to finish. It's kind of like looking at, one of those treasure maps that are very basic, without street names and all that on there, just general points of interest. This life we live here is really all about the journey we have, not the destination. Think of it like we've gone on vacation to a distant, beautiful tropical island. If we spend time thinking about the end of that journey, returning home, we'll miss out so many amazing opportunities and experiences on that island. So this life is about every second that we're living, every moment that we're experiencing, never a moment wasted. So we'll take a unique approach of looking at our journey by tracking it through the 7 most common chakras. And through this process, we'll see that our path unfolds perfectly by design. You can imagine the atlas of all the adventures happening on this planet can be quite expansive. Multiple expeditions are underway simultaneously. But 2 paths impact everyone. Now, the first path I call the chakra journey coming back from fear. And that is the path where we start from the bottom of the mountain, which we call the root chakra, and we move upward toward the summit, which we call the crown chakra. The second path I call the I am love experience. And that's basically a convergence of the lower self, the fear ego, and the higher self meeting in the middle, which actually ends up being our heart chakra. I'm going to talk about this one later because we're going to focus on the first path first, and then we'll kind of review the I am love experience after that. For those of you who aren't too familiar with chakras, we'll be covering the individual chakras in the following several episodes after this one. So don't worry about that too much. But basically, our physical body has spiritual entry points where the soul energy, or love energy as I like to call it, moves into this physical body. They're like the connecting points of the spiritual world plugging into the physical world. Sometimes it's easy to think of it like the chakras are the programs or the bosses that rule over different areas of our lives. They organize and govern specific parts of the huge movie production of our lives. So this chakra journey coming back from fear is reflected in the 7 chakras, starting in the root chakra, which is based in fear, moving up through the other chakras, eventually reaching the crown chakra, which is based in unconditional love. It's in that crown chakra where we connect to our inner master. You'll see the colors of the chakra flow with the colors of the rainbow. And as I go over these chakras right now, you'll see it kind of goes through red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, which is what a rainbow does. This adventure is one of transition from a being that roams on the ground to one that flies in the air. It truly is all about unconditional love, learning about it, comparing it, and ultimately returning to it. We start by identifying the stress and fear in our lives and understanding where it comes from and why it exists opens up our ability to make friends with our fear ego, realizing it's not our enemy, but it's our partner, even our employee. A transformation occurs when we wake up to the unconditional love being inside us, where our experience, becomes one of contrast instead of a victimized life. So we start our journey at the first chakra, which is called the root or base chakra, and it's related to the color red. Here we discover and face our fears, this world of conditional love. We get to battle and defend and attack, but we also get to experience here. And then we move to the second chakra, which is called the navel or sacral chakra. And this one is related to the color orange. Realizing here, we don't have to defend and resist our emotions. So we're able to feel emotions and move through them instead of running up against them like we do in the root or red chakra area. And then we move on to the third chakra, which is the solar plexus chakra. And here, this one is related to the color yellow. And it's in this part of our lives where we remember our power of choice and we're able to change our habits. And then we move into the fourth chakra, which is the heart chakra, the beautiful color green. And it's here we remember unconditional love. It fills us up and it flows out to the world through our heart, though it's not 100% of the time. And then we get to move into the fifth chakra, which is the throat chakra, and that is related to the color blue. Within this chakra area, we find our ability to communicate unconditional love, either by speech, represented by the throat chakra, or by action. And by doing this, we ignite other individuals' root chakras, which is very interesting because we're mirroring and communicating unconditional love, and that's hitting right up against their fears rooted in conditional love. So it tends to ignite that battle inside, which is great because that's part of our beginning of our wake up. And then we move into the sixth chakra, which is called the third eye chakra, represented by the color indigo. And this is really probably the most known chakra because it's the most talked about, especially, when the whole psychic phenomenon or attention was brought in. Everything was about the third eye, the third eye. But it really is where we connect to the other side. We get to see and we get to hear from those back home. Which then brings us to the final one, the seventh chakra, which is the crown chakra. And that is related to the color violet. And here we remember the master within us, our higher self, and we're most connected to the spiritual realm in this particular chakra. So that's a quick, synopsis there of the first journey, that high-level map of how our life basically unfolds. In the next 7 episodes, we'll review each of these 7 common chakras. Next episode, we're going to start with the first one, the root or base chakra. And even if you don't believe in chakras, it'll still be a good reflection of how your path unfolds in your life, and you can identify where you are at on the map. But until then, break the cycle. Be free. Be big. Because we're giants in a world of giants who've been taught that we're weak and small. It's time to rise. It's time to let your master out.